Hey y'all, what's up? What's poppin'? What's crackin' lackin'? Hi, how are you? How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well wherever you are, whenever it is you happen to be watching this video. I'm doing okay. And I'm having to be okay with just being okay. So, um, welcome back to the channel. This is our Sunday Reset live stream. The Sunday Reset is a weekly live stream for us conscious consumers who are looking to slow down, reflect, and either start or end the week with intention. So, yes, let's get into it. Now we are moving into our um, let's see, what do we call this segment? Good news for the planet. Let me check the. Okay, good news for the planet. Sorry, I was just checking the timestamp there. So, one thing that I want to highlight is this Good on You article about compostable fashion. So, apparently, this is becoming kind of like a huge trend right now that talks about compostable fashion kind of being like the final loop in circularity and like to close the loop. Um, and I thought this was an interesting article. It talks about how like the designers that are really thinking about biodegradable clothing, how they're called like soil punk, and the idea that once a garment has reached the end of its life, ideally you'd be able to compost it in your garden. I do have questions as far as like if we already think about the cost of sustainable fashion being so high, I don't know that making something that's biodegradable would be cost effective for consumers because, I mean, it's like how long, what is the lifespan of the garment? Like, is it going to start breaking down on you? Or is it based on how many times you wear it that it kind of gets that wear and tear? I just think that, it's not, like I said, cost effective for consumers if we're thinking about it in that sense. If we're paying like a pretty penny and we're knowing that okay, we're investing in this piece, usually sustainable fashion um, is more about durability and utility. So if we're getting a product that may not last that long, then it's like, okay, so what, how do we balance the price of that then? Um, so I think that's something that maybe the designers haven't thought about yet and the innovators haven't thought about yet. I just keep thinking about like those compostable like plastic bags, like sandwich bags that you get. Um Not plastic, sorry, just the compostable like sandwich bags. And like if you leave food in there, like for example, I would pack my lunches for work and I would leave pretzels in the compostable sandwich bag. And over time, like I would notice maybe like the next week, the pretzels were kind of like a little bit broken down a little bit, like they had already started to break down. Um, so I just think about that and I'm like, is that how it would be for the garment? I just have questions as far as how long lasting the piece would be. But if they are already working around that and they have a pretty good idea that like, hey, your pieces will last like 10 to 15 years and then maybe it'll start breaking down, then maybe that is a really good alternative to fast fashion and a wonderful advancement for circularity. But yeah, that was like my only thing as I was like reading the article that kind of like had me pause a little bit. Um, because like knowing that your piece could be degrading over time, it kind of puts into question that price, that high price for sustainable fashion, just in my opinion. If I were thinking about it from an economical like standpoint, right? So, but it's a wonderful article. I love the enthusiasm around uh, compostable like fashion. I think that it's great that consumers are already kind of thinking about this, and wanting to have a real solution to, okay, if I no longer want this piece, what do I do with it? Because we know it's all like very difficult to really find the right resources to uh, recycle clothing and textiles. So, um, again, this will be a great advancement for circularity, and if consumers are already asking for this, then why not give it to them? I think that's awesome. Um, but yeah, I think there's just some things that have to be like worked out a little bit and thought through a little bit more. They talk about the campaign here that was already done, like Make Good Dirt. And yeah, Milan Design Week in April of 2025. Um, and I think it's a good read. So if this is something that interests you, um, check it out. I, again, think it's a wonderful idea, wonderful answer to fast fashion. And I've already got the next article kind of ready to go in my brain for the next Sunday reset. But, it's a good answer to really decrease like our the pollution that fast fashion and the fashion industry in general produces. So hopefully this is something that can, catch fire and keep going. Like I said, I do think they have to iron out some of the details a little bit more and like really figure out how is this going to impact the consumer. Um, like will garments last 5 years now, or are they going to last 10, 15 years? I think that's the question that we have to consider. um so we'll see, we shall see. But I think it is a wonderful idea. It's like a very dreamy, you know if I could live in a perfect world, like this is how I would want the fashion industry to go. Like that would be the natural resolution, right, to the end of a garment's life. So yeah, like I said, this will be linked in the description, so give it a looky loo or whatever. The next one is that in Germany, they have designed curved solar shelters. So, and they are solar powered sleep pods for the unhoused, and they are big enough to include pets. So, I thought this was a really feel good story. Um, and it's by the Energy Shift, and you can kind of like read the post, but um, I do love the intention behind it as well, as they mention here. And yeah, they're part of, I think they put them, yeah, okay, they put them in city centers. So they're, yeah, they're kind of like their own community within the city center. So I love the idea of that. I know like the tiny house movement kind of got started as initially a response to homelessness. And so we shall see how this goes. I hope that other communities and cities adopt this. You know, if we're really using our funds the right way. This could be a real solution, and a humane way to at least start addressing homelessness. As someone who has faced homelessness myself, like several times, this would be awesome. An awesome solution. Like it's a way to be compassionate and to have dignity as you know, for the person having to live and sleep in one of these solar shelters. But you know, I just think the way we look at homelessness is all wrong. I see it as a moral failing of our society, especially here in America. I think, for a country that touts to be the richest country in the world, like there's no excuse to have just astronomical, like homeless populations. We should be able to invest in shelters if we're using funds and allocating them in the right way. So yeah, let us hope that we start to get more savvy leaders, and they're tapped into some of these more future thinking solutions or future thinking communities. I don't know what to call them, but innovators. Hopefully, they're paying attention to stories like these and can kind of find a way to incorporate that as we continue to try to rebuild America. Do do do. Because we've really gone downhill, y'all. We've gone downhill. Mm-mm. And we're all trying to escape. I know we are. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know we are. So that takes us out of um, the out of the article portion or news portion. Thank y'all so much for the time that you've dedicated here. I'm really grateful for any time we get to spend here together. So until the next one, y'all know what it is. Take care of yourselves, others, and the